Hello, good morning. I'm so excited to be here today. And, I'm super, super excited because December is one of my favorite months of the year. And December is one of my favorite months of the year. And some people would think that maybe it's because it's the holidays or Christmas time or whichever holiday you celebrate around this time. But that's not actually it. My favorite time of the year, December, is important for me because I think it's a really cool process to close out the end of the year and come into the new year and ask yourself what you truly want for the new year. So, I have this really cool process that I've learned from a fellow coach that I use every single year to ask myself, what do I want to bring into the next year and what do I want to let go of this year? And also, how can I feel incredibly grateful and just really honor all the work that I did do in 2021 or all the blessings that happened in 2021? And so, if you're new here, we're having a really cool Dry January event in January, starting January 3rd through the 5th. And so we're going to get really pumped up, really motivated to make alcohol a smaller part of our lives, renegotiate that relationship, and really start to bring in the healthiest, happiest you. But I think before, you even want to make changes to your relationship with alcohol or wherever you are on the spectrum, whether you're already alcohol free or sober curious or whatever, it's really important to determine what you want. It's really important to determine what drives you, what your motivations are, what your deeper desires are. And so I think December is such a cool time, anytime really in December, to think about what you really want to call into the new year. And obviously, we have a tradition of doing that in our society. We have New Year's resolutions in our society, but sometimes our New Year's resolutions are so surface level. Like they're lose weight, lose weight, exercise more. And we don't really get at the core of the deeper things that we want or why we want them. And so, what I'm going to do with you today is I'm going to share a process, a framework that I use that I learned from another coach. It was actually a Tony Robbins coach that I learned this from, that helps me really close out the end of the year and bring forth what I want to bring in into 2022. And so this practice is a framework that I've learned from, like I said, another coach named Julie. But also I've added some other things that are helpful for me to really just, some guiding questions to help me determine what I want in 2022. And what is really cool about this time of year is no matter what happened in 2021, I think we can all look back and find things that we're grateful for, things that were magical, things that we loved. And there was also a lot of hard things probably that happened and lessons that we had to learn and ways that we wanted things to happen that didn't happen. And just bringing a lot of forgiveness and grace and learning into all the things that we learned through that. But then also deciding, like, what do I not want to carry into 2022? Do I not want to carry any guilt with me to 2022? Do I not want to carry a habit with me to 2022? Do I not want to carry a feeling, And so I'm going to go over some guiding questions that you can use in your own journaling process. So I just want to share with you, it's been a few years now, at least probably 3 or 4, that I do a really cool closeout of the year, of the previous year, and then really welcome in the new year with what I want to feel and embody and the goals I want. And so as we do that together, we can really do an introspective process to determine what we want, what we really want to bring forth into the new year. Someone says that I had some drinks after almost 5 months without alcohol, and it kind of made me think that no alcohol is the way to go, or maybe once or twice a year. And it's so interesting how, even we have these lessons throughout the year. We have these challenging moments that really show us what we want or what we don't want in the year. So even if the year didn't go perfectly for you, that's not the point. The point is to learn. The point is to know to yourself better, to know what you really want in your life and what you want to make space for. And if something makes you feel negative, or it makes me feel low, or it makes you feel guilty or unwell, or all these things, those are beautiful lessons that you can carry with you into 2022 about what you really do want to design and what you really want it to bring in. So this past weekend, I was really lucky, and I'm going through a book launch right now. So Euphoric, Ditch Alcohol and Gain a Happier, More Confident You, where's my copy, is going to be on bookshelves in less than 3 weeks. I can't believe it. It's insane. And it's just a really exciting process, but it's like going to be the busiest time of my life. It already is, but basically I thought to myself, if I want to get away, if I want to have a little bit of quiet time to myself, if I want to really reflect on what I want to bring forth into 2022, I need to get away. So I went on a little weekend getaway. I live in San Diego, so I went to Phoenix, and I went to this really incredible wellness spa called Savannah. And I just had an incredible time there. They had all these wellness classes. They have this beautiful spa. They have just these gorgeous, like, desert landscape. It was just so pretty. But one of the biggest reasons why I really wanted to go there is I wanted to have some time to myself in a really beautiful environment to really introspect and really reflect and journal and really, really get honest about what I want to bring forth into my life and what I want to let go of in 2021. So just want to wave to everyone who's joining. Hey, Kat, it's great to see you. So everyone, Jack and Charlie, Emma, it's really great to see you all. But I'm going to share with you now this process that I want to bring, that I can share with you to bring forth what you truly want in 2022 and also honor yourself for what happened in 2021. So one of the first things that we want to do is look back into 2021, look back into the last year. And the thing is that no matter how the year went for you, there are certain things that we all share. There's certain things that we can all find within our years. And that's really finding the moments that you loved. Really looking back and asking yourself, what in 2021 were some of the greatest things that either happened to me or blessings I experienced? Like, what did I really love about 2021? What moments did I love? Were there any magical moments? Were there any moments that I'm extremely grateful for? You know, you can even look back month to month, like January, February, March. Like, oh, in March I got to go on this really cool trip, or in June I got to spend a lot of time with my dad, or, you know, I got to spend time with my children. You know, what were the magical moments of the year? What brings you just gratitude to think about? What makes your heart expand when you think about those moments? What cool memories did you add to 2021? What else are you grateful for? What other moments are you grateful for 2021? And I think it's really cool to start here because oftentimes, like, the years could just go on and on and on, right? Like, time goes so fast once you're an adult. And if we don't stop and ask ourselves what some of our favorite moments are, what we're really grateful for, you know, it kind of feels like a blur, really. Like, and especially with COVID and staying at home and all this different stuff, like, it's almost as if the last 2 years really were a blur, right? So really think about to yourself, what were some of my favorite moments of 2021? What am I really grateful that happened? What were some magical experiences I had? What were some really loving memories I created? And then I want you to ask, you know, what did you accomplish in 2021? So we are so good as humans of looking at everything we didn't do. So, you know, if you wanted to, you know, launch and grow a business, if you wanted to stop drinking, if you wanted to lose a lot of weight, and you didn't quite meet your goals exactly where you wanted to, it's so easy to just guilt yourself, shame yourself, feel just like you failed, right? Like, even if you were so close to hitting goals, but you didn't quite hit them in 2021, it's easy to feel like you're a total failure. And so what I want to do is the total opposite. I want you to honor yourself for what you did do in 2021. I want you to look back at 2021 and really reflect on what you accomplished. And what I want you to do is create like a victory list around it. So a victory list is like a list of things that you're proud of yourself for doing. And the thing is, we don't give ourselves enough credit enough. Like, I think sometimes it's hard to write down the things that we did do well or that we're proud of ourselves because it feels so like self-serving. It feels so selfish and it just feels like we're bragging. The thing is, most of us in our psyches, we do not brag enough. We do not honor ourselves enough for the work that we have done. So the next part of this process to ask yourself, what did you accomplish in 2021? And man, you could list anything and everything here, right? Like, you could list the bigger accomplishments. Maybe you got certified as a coach. Maybe you launched a business. Maybe you got a promotion. But maybe it's like the littlest things. Like, I finally got a process of waking up in the morning and working out and then, you know, making my kids breakfast. Like, that has always been so harried, and I finally got that kind of under wraps. Or, you know, we accomplished like a room addition or a refurbishing of furniture in my house. Like, anything you've done is something you did, right? And so I want you to really list all of the accomplishments, all of the wins, big or small, that you accomplished in 2021. And they do not have to be outward goals. They could be very much internal. They could be very much something to do with just you personally that you've done. You know, even if you felt more calm, like you weren't as frantic, you know, that's a huge win to celebrate. So the guiding questions for 2021, like I said, is what did you love? What are you super grateful for? What was super magical in that year? And now what a victory list to create as well. What did you accomplish? So what are you proud of yourself for doing in 2021? And write all these things down. And now the next question for 2021 is really thinking what was challenging. What did you not like about 2021? What brought you really hard feelings, emotional strife? What was really hard about 2021? And as you write that, you can really articulate and express yourself and really put it onto paper and kind of let it go from holding you back in your mind. So let it all go. You can rewatch this video later if you want to get your journal and go through all these different prompts. But what did you not like, or what was challenging in 2021? And very active, just writing it down on paper is a way that it actually is decluttering from your mind. So it's not weighing on you for 2022. So what did you not like, and what did you want to, what was a challenge in 2021? Just let yourself write all of that down. Okay. So that's like a really good framework to really reflect on the past year. And now having that kind of emotional intelligence to know what I liked, what I loved, what I'm proud of myself for, and what I didn't like, what I wasn't, what was more challenging of the year. Let's look at 2022. So for 2022, one of the first questions I look at is something that the last question just prompted me. So I just thought of 2021, what I didn't like, what was challenging, what was really hard. And so from that space, I want to ask myself, what do I not want to bring with me into 2022? What do I not want to bring with me into 2022? And now this can be so many things. This could be a habit. So obviously, if you don't want to drink in 2022, if you want to be alcohol free, if you want to, just transform your relationship with alcohol, you could list like a habit change, right? Like, I don't want to bring alcohol with me into 2022, or at least not the beginning of it, or whatever, whatever your decisions are. But it could be a habit, right? But, it could be other things. Like, I don't want to bring with me negative thinking. I don't want to bring negative thinking with me into 2022. I don't want to bring guilt with me for 2022. That was a big one of mine, actually. So guilt, whenever you aren't doing something perfectly, whenever you are not like completely nailing your exercise plan and writing back every email you get the second you get it, and all the different things that we feel we put a pressure on ourselves, I think we sometimes make ourselves feel really guilty. I know I'm personally definitely responsible for that too. And so one of the things I noticed is I don't want to bring guilt with me into 2022, Like every single day, I'm doing my very best. To, be a coach, to be a business person, to be an author, to be a wife, to be a daughter, to be a friend. I'm doing my very best almost every single day. And sometimes I will miss the mark. Sometimes I won't do all the things perfectly. And I'm not going to bring guilt in with me to 2022. So that was for me personally what I identified as something I don't want to bring into 2022. Maybe for you, like I said, it could be a habit. It could be a feeling. So it's like I don't want to feel guilt. I don't want to feel shame. I don't want to have negative thinking. I don't want to complain so much maybe in 2022. But maybe it's also a quality you don't want to embody. Like I don't want to be an angry person. I don't want to be closed off. I don't want to continue to shove my feelings under a rug and drink over them. Like, what do you not want to bring into 2022? And again, a lot of times this question can really be poised at like habits we want to change. And obviously, being in this community, changing your relationship with alcohol is paramount. But sometimes it's deeper than that. Sometimes it's like, well, but why do I drink? What is the deeper feeling that I don't want to live in anymore? And how can I not bring that into 2022? All right. And so now the next part of this exercise, it can be really, really fun. So I then look at not just a year, because I feel like thinking about what I just want to accomplish in 1 year can be really stifling, because it's like, well, I don't know, would that even be able to be done in a year, or would it take more years, or how is that going to work, And then so it's kind of hard to understand, like, how do I actually make my goals for the next year? So the next part of this process is to actually do a life vision. And so what I like to do for this is I like to, turn on some really beautiful inspirational music, maybe meditation music, or, some just beautiful instrumental music that you have, and start really like almost picturing the future version of you. Picture the future version of you 5-10 years into the future. And this future version of you has everything that you want and has accomplished everything you want to accomplish, and lives a life filled with so much joy, so much love, so much contribution. This is the idealized version of you, right? And you see her in your mind's eye, or you see him in your mind's eye, and you really allow yourself to picture what you want. Like, if anything were possible in the next 5 or 10 years, what would that look like? Would you be a famous author? Would you be a teacher? Would you have more children? Would you live in a house by the sea? I work with a lot of women who their dreams are actually to just move from where they are and live somewhere more rural or more close by the ocean or something like that. It's a beautiful essence and a beautiful kind of a honoring of that desire to live a more simple life, to unplug a little bit from our modern rat race and live a more simple life. So where are you in 5 to 10 years? Where do you live? What do you do for fun? What do you do for work? How do you make an impact in the world? What is your legacy? Who knows of you? Who do you help? So really just allow yourself to picture this beautiful, beautiful version of you 5 to 10 years from now. And after you see that vision, you want to write down everything you saw. So, I remember the first time I did this was actually before I stopped drinking. And it was one of the first times I allowed myself to even go there. You know what I mean? Because everything before was like, Carolina, you get what you get in life. You're not allowed to just design it or go for it. That's not how it works. You just get what you get in life. And I remember the first time I was prompted to actually ask myself this, what I envisioned for myself was so much bigger than I had ever envisioned before, I ever allowed myself to think of. So as you do your life vision, as you really picture this beautiful lifestyle that you live 5 to 10 years from now, I want you to write down what you saw. What are you doing for work? How do you make an impact in the world? What goals have you achieved? Who are your friends? How do you treat your body? What do you eat? How often do you work out? What do you do with your physical body? How is your family life? Just really write down everything you saw. And once you finish your life vision, and again, you can watch the replay of this video so that you can do all these prompts in order and pause it and stuff like that. You really then want to ask yourself, okay, so for some of the goals that I identified for my life vision, which ones are ones that I could start working on in the next year? Which ones actually need me to start working on the next year so that they could be accomplished in 5 years? So for example, if you saw yourself working for yourself and maybe being an entrepreneur and having like a really successful business and leaving your corporate job, in 5 years, if you wanted that and you wanted to be like a millionaire, let's say, or make $1 million in your business, you probably have to start today, right? You probably have to start today. And it's not a rush, right? But it's just like, what goals should I start working on in 2022 to be able to achieve that big vision? If you saw yourself being a writer, for example, maybe it's time to start looking into how to write a book. And so that would be a goal that you could list for 2022. So taking that, kind of demarcating for yourself what goals you would like to achieve in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and what goals would be really crucial to start in the next year if you want to achieve them in 5 to 10 years, you can kind of come up with some of your top goals for 2022. And from there, I don't just ask myself, what are my goals? Because it's really easy to get super analytical, super stuck in almost like check boxes of thinking. But I also ask myself, what feelings do I want to have in 2022? Do I want to feel more joy? Do I want to feel more awe? Do I want to feel more gratitude? Do I want to feel more confidence or courage? What feelings do you want to feel in 2022? What qualities do you want to embody in 2022 as well? Who do you want to be? How do you want to show up? I think that inside of us, we are all creative, powerful, emboldened people. That there is a soul within us that is here to share our gifts with the planet. And yet we have these personas and these masks that make us feel like that's not who we really are. And it takes on sometimes having to ask yourself, how do I embody that most emboldened version of me? How do I embody the most authentic, expressive, creative, beautiful version of me? What qualities is that? And you can kind of think to yourself what qualities those are. And then lastly, you can just reiterate, what are your goals for 2022? What do you really want to bring forth? Maybe they're goals around launching a business. Maybe they're goals around growing a business. Maybe you want to get your first clients. Maybe you want to grow to 6 figures. Maybe you want to leave your day job. Maybe you want to write a book and really start the writing process in 2022. Maybe you really want to start moving your body more. Maybe you want to finally make alcohol insignificant in your life. Maybe you want to take your first break. So what are the goals that you have for yourself in 2022? Maybe the vision you saw of yourself from 5 years from now has absolutely no complicated relationship with alcohol, and they're free and they live life with so many bigger things on their mind. And so if you have no idea where to get there, but you're just starting, maybe your first place to start is to lean into your relationship with alcohol and or take a break in January. So there's all these things that you might have seen that can help guide you into the goals that you want to create for 2022. And so what feelings do you want to feel? What qualities do you want to embody? And what goals do you have for 2022? And you can go back through, again, this video if you want to write all these prompts down and do them kind of on your own time. But I really, really love and appreciate this process in December to do. You know, you could do it this week, you could do it the last week of December. I know the holidays are coming and it's like, you have to all get through those first, you know, but it's just such a great time, I think, this time of year to really reflect, to really sit back and think to yourself, what do I not want to bring into 2022? What am I grateful for that happened this year? What do I accomplish? You know, really celebrate yourself for your victories. And then really ask yourself what you want to bring forth into 2022. What do you really, really want most? And, you know, besides just having these goals of like losing weight, what do you really want to bring forth into 2022? How do you want to feel? What do you want to embody? So I hope that process was super helpful for you. And, you know, this is something that I just did this past weekend. And I'm actually going to continue writing and reflecting on these different themes through the rest of December. I'll probably re-look at it for sure again after the holidays because sometimes we get a little quiet time then. Maybe you have more time off work or just there's a little bit of less hecticness sometimes, but after the holiday, but before the new year. And so you can really use this process to reflect then. I know I will be as well. And I really use this time of year. I mean, it's cold. Like even in San Diego, you should see my sweater. It's freezing here. Not really, but you know, cold for me. It's cold everywhere. It's like winter time. It's time to go within. It's time to really reflect. It's time to really, really introspect into what we want in our lives. You know, in the summer, it's like bustling. It's hot. We might go to the beach. We might be doing all these things, seeing our friends. But winter is like a perfect time to slow down and go within. And if you want, doing this journaling process could be really, really helpful. Doing it somewhere beautiful outside. So maybe there's a beautiful lake or an ocean or a view or a vista or a forest that you could go into and do this process outside if it's not too cold. And if not, you know, just doing it alone on your own in your house is great too. So I hope that was helpful and I will see you next week for next week's video. And I'm just sharing so many blessings and love and gratitude for you all for this year. And just a few shout outs. One, I'm hosting a Dry January event for the first week of January, so if you haven't joined that yet, be sure to do so. The link is dryjanuary.euphoricaf.com, and you can also find that I'll share the link in Facebook, and you can find it in the link in my bio and Instagram, and that will be a really, really cool challenge to really get motivated for Dry January and make sense of your relationship with alcohol and just really step into a higher version of your identity so you feel really empowered. And then also, if you haven't already, I'm still looking for early readers for my book of Euphoric, Ditch Alcohol and Gain a Happier, More Confident You. And so I'd love for you to join my book launch team if you haven't already. You can join at euphoricaf.com/team. And if you haven't gotten your copy yet, if you pre-order now, you will get your copy literally mailed to you on January 4th. So you want this book as a primer for you for Dry January or for really renegotiating your relationship with alcohol. But also it helps you discover what you truly want. These kind of prompts, these kind of questions about what you want more in your life are also included in the book. So it's a really great way to start the new year. If you pre-order your book, you will get it by January 4th. So please do pre-order your book ASAP. So thank you so much again for joining, and I'll see you next week.